take that.
Welcome everyone to the 12th episode of Dollar Bin of Doom. Today we watched
Dragon Wars.
Dragon
Wars. D-Wars.
All right, want to tell us what this movie was about and why you're so excited to see it?
So, I mean, I guess a little bit backstory. Me and my buddies found this at like Walmart, $5 bin. We're like, this looks bad.
I'm just going to field this. If any movie from this point forward is more than $1, I'm cutting off something from one of both of you.
All right.
Okay.
I don't care what it is, but you're going to lose something.
Well, this was more than $1. Well, was this worth your pinky? Let's discuss it. But yeah, I saw it like a decade ago, and I remember like enjoying it as like a bad movie. But now that I've gone through art school and have a little more experience with like bad movies,
like, way cooler.
Yeah,
We're so much cooler.
yeah, for sure.
I mean, I remember seeing this in theaters. I don't remember anything about it. I remember, though, that I saw it in theaters.
Isn't that insane how you like fully drive to a theater, pay money, sit down, have it blasted in your face for 2 hours, and then like a year later you're like, I don't remember that experience. There's a lot of movies like that.
Makes you wonder what the point is.
Of life, or
If anything.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's all going to fade.
So, Tom, I'm so happy you're here. That you understand movies.
Yeah, I know what happens.
It's kind of easy to follow. Dragons try to get the lady,
Yeah. Yes.
but
Correct.
you understand like the details of it.
It has token plot.
That's racist.
Sure.
To who?
I don't know.
J.R.R. Tolkien?
Yeah.
That was a good one. Did it!
Hey.
Woo! I'm taking the rest of the night off, fellas. Go ahead and steer the ship yourselves.
I mean, do you want to dive into it? Do you want me to
Well,
read
the
the
movie
back?
opens with some old guy eating out a woman from behind. Ric Flair, woo! Maybe you'll leave it in.
Nah. You used up your Ric Flair card.
Shit!
Now, if you drew your pot of greed, you could have drawn 3 more Ric Flairs.
That's
or
true.
3 other wrestlers that I like.
All right, fine.
I've learned more about Yu-Gi-Oh! Tonight than I ever wanted to, just from you
That's
idiots
fine.
talking about it.
It is a stupid ass thing, but it is funny.
Now you understand like 3 minutes of my life with Tom. Hey, Sam, have you heard of this? No.
No.
You're going to tell me, aren't you?
Yep.
Yep. He's already in the process of to tell you.
Yeah, he's got a big dumb smile on his face, like, There's a fucking guy.
So the movie opens, and there's a big hole in the ground, and then there's a Native American saying this is their land, which doesn't really make sense because it's a Korean dragon.
No, he doesn't say this is their land. He said Trump 2020. Trump 2020.
Yeah.
Are we sure it was a Korean flick?
I'm gonna double check this just to be 100%.
Because, like, I think Korea was a part of the lore in the movie, but I'm willing to bet that it wasn't a Korean-made movie. I think it was Chinese.
Yeah, that's true. The dragon did look like a Chinese
Super
dragon.
Asian dragon. Yeah.
that sounds like a bad anime. Super Asian Dragon.
Super
I'd watch the
Asian
fuck out of it.
dragon.
Showbox Company Limited is one of the largest film distribution companies in drumroll South Korea.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
South Korean movie.
All right.
I
Now we
somehow
know.
feel better about it.
Yeah,
somehow.
yeah.
Really?
sure.
I feel worse.
I just hate the Chinese world, man. So anyway, there's a fucking dildo. He looks at a fucking rock in the ground.
No, he zooms in from about
Who
fucking
gives a
mile
shit?
away with his camcorder.
Cut scene.
He's looking at his computer, and then he's like, we flash back, and it's like 10 years ago.
15.
That's why I thought
That's
too,
the
but
only
Craig
thing I
Robinson
remember.
said 10.
You hit some whacked out legend 10 years ago from some old fart.
Well, I remember the text saying 15.
That's why I thought too. I guarantee you, Craig Robinson was correct.
I've written something on my hand here. It says, "Who gives a shit?"
You spray painted it on the wall behind you.
Oh, look at that. When did I do that? Yeah. So anyway, there's a fucking scale in the ground. He goes, "Oh!" And then he flashes back to when he was a little boy, and his dad was like, I have this knife. I hate it.
Trying to get rid of it.
money. I need pussy money. I want to eat it out from behind."
And
And
Jack.
he's trying to pawn off this knife to an old man. The old man's like, "I'll give you fucking $10. I don't give a shit." And then the little boy goes through the shop, and he fucking kicks open a crate, and a giant scale is in there, and that scale imbues him with lizard energy.
Heaven energy. It was the wind from heaven.
There's something else on my hand here. It's who gives a fucking flying flip?
Yeah. And then the old man fakes a heart attack to get the dad out of the building, which is a classic pedophile move.
And then he stands up and he's like, I'm so happy you're here.
Alone, yeah.
And then he sits that child down on like a bench and talks to him for like 3 hours. And we go back in time like 500 years. And there's giant fucking...
Gungas.
I hate it.
Well, that's the thing. We're like, this is 9 movies all crammed into one, and this is the Star Wars Phantom Menace section of the movie.
In our flashback, there's an even longer flashback to like the 1500s, where apparently, you know, while the Americas were just being discovered, there's a Korean castle being attacked by the Gungan forces.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right, but you miss some of the details.
Right, George II or whatever is like, God, those American colonies are going good. And then the fucking Gungas have little, like, Gunga missile launchers shooting at a Korean castle.
No, you're right. On one side of the planet, Christopher Columbus is like, fuck these brown people.
Yes.
And then on the other side, Star Wars Episode 1.
Yeah, Christopher
Also-
Columbus is busy just coughing on natives.
Into the mouth of natives. Yeah.
So I want to jump back really quickly.
Okay.
Because we have the old man and the little kid, Haram.
Christ, I'm so happy you're here. But yet I want you to sit outside for some reason.
They visit the king.
Can you write it on like a chalkboard?
You're
and, like,
right,
sit outside and then...
Yeah, we'll read it.
Something about young Harambe. Is that what he's saying?
Something about grabbing a child by the knee.
And he goes to the ruler of this land that gets attacked by Gungans and is like, hey, in 20 years, your daughter's going to be the
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh! The Yu-Yi-Jo.
The Yu-Gi-Oh.
And he's like, how fucking dare you say that to me? My wife just died in labor. And he's like, I'm just saying, bro, we're going to need to sacrifice her to a snake.
Could you imagine that? Like, your child is the second coming of Jesus. Fuck you! It's like, that should be a good thing.
Well, he explained, he was like, we got to get the emoji
Yeah.
to eat
the
your
winking
daughter.
So Yu-Gi-Oh needs the emoji?
Yes, actually. And then there's
Fuck.
like, we jump ahead the 20 years, and the dude, Haram, is in the...
Harambe.
Yep.
Never
is in
forget.
the courtyard, and then an old man just tries to do a flying kick at him, and he gets out of the way, and the old man's like, you mastered everything now.
Right. And then the master was like, whatever you do, let the girl get eaten by the snake.
That's what he said.
And the guy's like, that doesn't sound cool at all. So he takes the girl and tries to run away with her while being chased by a giant snake.
And Power Rangers enemies
Yeah.
that have swords that just come out of the air.
They're not necessarily putties. Putties
well, their
are like worthless.
putties are worthless.
Yeah.
These guys can at least like deflect bullets with their dumb shields.
They're like a bunch of gold art, like Sylvdars or whatever.
yeah.
It's a bad Power Rangers joke.
So anyway, Harambe and
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I mean,
I'm back
again,
in.
you're not that off from
so
the name.
Harambe and Yu-Gi-Oh commit suicide off a cliff.
Yeah.
And
Cut back to the
Baraka-
old man just massaging the knee of that child, being like, and I'm the old man and you're the guy reincarnated and you have to find the girl, but after I finish. And
We should point out that the girl will have a tattoo that's a birthmark that just is a perfect dragon. And then the dude like phases back into existence at his desk. Is like, hey, Craig Robinson, I need you to help me. He's like, fucking white people. Okay, what's up? The guy's like, I need you to find this girl with this birthmark. And he's like, okay, what can you tell me about her? And he's like, I think her name is Sarah. And he's like, there are thousands of Sarahs.
Yep.
and there were.
Yeah.
So,
Gym scene.
sure.
Future Yu-Gi-Oh! Sarah is at the gym, and her sister.
By the way, I just want to say Haram was just from the concept art. I
Haram-
don't know if they gave him any name.
Bay,
Harambe.
Harambe. Dicks out.
Show respect, Sam.
get your salty wieners out for Harambe.
So, future Yu-Gi-Oh! Is at the gym with her roommate, and her roommate is like dripping on the floor because she fucking loves
Yeah.
helmet hair.
Isn't he absolutely gorgeous?
No.
She's just pressing her tits together and making noises at the TV. And her friend's like, ugh. And once she sees Harambe, she has to go home and get a bunch of arbitrarily sized yellow paper right in Korean.
It was already written on it.
And stuck them all over the walls. And then her friend came over and was like, sorry, I blacked out there for a second. Anyway, you left the gym. Are you all right? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine.
And then she's like, cool, we're going to this club, this bar tonight.
What was the name of the bar?
Raspberries.
I think it was called the Pump and Dump.
And then she walks out and gets assaulted by 3 men in this back alley bar. Like, it's not
3 football players.
Football players, you're right.
Yeah, she
What
gets
the fuck
raped.
happens then?
Yeah, she almost gets
She gets
assaulted.
raped,
And
goes
then
to the
old
police
man
station.
shows up.
Old man shows up.
Just fucking like, we just see his back and he just like hits the 3 guys and then walks the fuck away
He's
into
like-
the field of dreams and just disappears. There's one other scene in between this that has no bearing. The bad guy suddenly appears out of nowhere and phases through a fence into the Jack's Antique.
That's right.
And then the old woman just looks, turns towards the fence and walks into it. And that's the scene because it's funny. And then she's at the police station. This guy comes in and starts taking a picture of her and is like, she beat up 3 guys. And she's like, no, I didn't. It was an old man. I'm like, okay, but you don't know what the old guy looks like. So it was obviously you. And he goes back over to Craig and he's like, hey, have you found Sarah yet? And Craig is like, you didn't give me anything else to work with.
She might have a tattoo. Well, fucking thanks, dude.
And then the photographer from the night before comes in. And he's like, hey, I know Sarah. And Craig's like, good for fucking you, man. And then he's like, yeah, but my Sarah beat up women. And it's suddenly her.
Only the Yu-Gi-Oh could beat up 3 football players, but not beat up 3 football players because an old man did it.
Yes. And then there's the scene with Mike from Mike and Molly.
What's his name?
Mike.
There you go.
So anyway, Mike and Molly, he
just Mike.
works at the zoo.
Yeah, he is Kevin James zookeeper.
Yeah. And he hears like a death noise from an elephant. And I was like, what the fuck? Oh, fuck! Leave.
Cynthia, no! Which was the most, for me, like, actually emotional part of the movie, because, like, nobody wants to see an elephant die.
Right?
But it was kind of a hilarious prop that they, like, made in full scale.
And they had him run into.
So that Mike and Molly could overact next to it.
With this movie, I was fully expecting everything to be bad CG, but a lot of the CG like isn't terrible, especially for like
Yeah, for the time,
2007-ish. And again, there's a lot of like miniatures and actual props, like that elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's like impressive.
So she's institutionalized.
Well, and her friends get killed first.
First on-screen death.
Oh, lame.
No, she's in the hospital, and they go to her house.
After going to the hospital and meeting Donna from Parks and Rec.
Donna's like, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing?
She's like, it's 2 a.m.
Go. Visiting hours
are fucking over.
What are you
Ended
doing?
9 hours ago.
Yeah, exactly. And
So they go
then-
back to her place to get some shit, and the snake's like, I smell Yu-Gi-Oh! And eats her.
It's the Jurassic World 2 scene, yeah.
And then Yu-Gi-Oh! Flips out and starts trying to stab doctors. Right.
And then
so
they
they
just-
institutionalize her.
Exactly. I don't even know what the main character's name is.
It's Harambe.
It is.
Yes, but that's his past
It's
life.
Ken Burns.
It's Harambe.
Okay, well, Harambe shows up to the hospital.
No, he shows up to her house where the corpse is and thinks it's Sarah.
That's right.
Pulls the
you're
blanket
right.
out and it's like, it's just some...
Dude, he's been paying more attention than me in this one.
So
You
he
love this
goes
movie.
all the way... You don't put that you on me. I did not love this movie.
Yeah, and Craig
He
Robinson's
goes
like,
back to the hospital to see Yu-Gi-Oh! And they're like, no.
she's quarantined.
You
what the
cannot
fuck?
go in there. She has had a mental breakdown.
He gets away with that shit twice, where he's talking to Donna from Parks and Rec, and he's like, "Can you tell me anything?" And she's like, "I shouldn't tell you this, but," and just like divulges all the information. And then as he's leaving, some random fucking doctor's like, "I seen yous on the TV."
Hey, you want to see some lady who's really like freaking out?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that'd be great.
That's why I came down here. Yeah.
And then cut back to Mike and Molly. And this scene makes me sad. Where he is in a straitjacket, and there's the world's worst mental health doctor.
Yeah.
And
She's like, I am going to get eaten out from behind in like 3 minutes.
So
Let's get you out of
he
here.
realizes it's a lost cause. He's like, yeah, I had a mental break. There was no real snake. Same time, the snake is crawling all over the hospital.
That no one hears,
No one
or
hears
sees.
or gives a shit about.
And as he's being let out of the straitjacket, he's like, it's right behind you. And then, of course, it leaves, and the doctor's like,
Right.
oh, I guess you are crazy. And we
Don't-
laughed so hard.
I
She's
fucking
like-
glued my dick to the outside of my underwear. That's how fucking hard I laughed. I sprayed the inside of my underwear. It dried, and now my dick is stuck to my underwear.
It didn't get picked up on our audio, but like that happened, and beams of light shot out of you
Yeah.
because it was such a transcendent moment of your
Yeah.
life.
That's right. And then I watched on 2x speed the entire however many seasons of Mike and Molly. Because I just wanted to relive that.
Yeah.
And I thought that would help, but it didn't. Because let's face it, they just were never going to work. They had bad chemistry.
No, they have great chemistry because they fat.
That's
the
the show. So some bullshit happens where he's like, hey, girl, you Yu-Gi-Oh! She like, oh, that makes sense. And the room shakes, and then the same doctor that was like, hey, I know you, is like, get out of here, you two. Go.
You crazy kids.
Take the stairs. And then he fucking phases into the old man Jack.
He anamorphs into the old man.
So Craig Robinson, they get in the car, and he's like, what the fuck took you so long? And who is this white bitch? And then the snake goes through the parking garage.
And then he suddenly wasn't worried about any of that.
No.
So they drive, and just the bad guy's in the middle of the road and just gets taken the fuck out by Craig
right,
Robinson's car.
They have like a shitty duel, or Craig Robinson like shoots at him.
Three
he only
times.
has like 3 bullets.
And he grabs his sword, and the sword doesn't work.
And then
Yeah,
the
like-
soccer mom fucking plows the fuck into the bad guy again. Stop getting hit by fucking cars, dude! She drops them off at a beach, and then she anamorphs into the old man again.
Form of suburban housewife.
They walk on the beach and make out.
And then he goes to work the next day.
He does go
Well, he
to
knows what
work.
happens if he tells anyone about it. He gets put in a straitjacket, and he's like,
Oh, yeah. No black guy would be caught
No.
dead saying anything like that to any authority
Was
figure.
that the same day? It might have been the same day. Craig Robinson, they might have dropped him off at fucking work. Because he was not in the car when they got dropped off. I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he's like, fuck, it's 9 a.m. Get me to work, please. I can't be late.
Yeah.
That's when they end up at the
coffee shop.
The coffee shop. And Craig Robinson, love him, is like, okay, just dead in the eyes at this point. I got you a helicopter on the building in town.
And a gun.
I got you a helicopter ride out of the city. I have called in every favor that I have earned in my entire life to help you two. He's like, thanks, bro.
Thanks.
We missed a scene that's important.
did we?
We missed the hypnotist.
I don't even remember the hypnotist.
Where they're on the beach, and Harambe is like, we have to go see my personal
Yeah.
doctor.
They go see Mr.
Oh,
Darko.
And she levitates after
Oh, yeah.
having
That's right.
her flashback of the Gungans.
That's right.
Another movie to add to the list of like the director saw like 8 movies before he wrote this. The Exorcist.
And also, Mr. Darko, one of the many characters in the movie that suddenly understands the plot better than our main characters. Yeah. And then he unplugs her and she hits the bed. We never really got that part. Was she stealing electricity from the wall?
Yeah.
And he's just like, I understand everything. The snake's here. Run.
Yep. And the snake crashes through and kills him.
Yeah.
And they steal some pizza delivery guy's car.
Yeah, and he was down the block because he was like, this isn't the house. This isn't the house. And he just worked his way down.
So true. And then we're at the thing, and Craig Robinson is like, get the fuck out of my face, guys. And then the snake shows up, and he's like, motherfucker, I have to drive them, don't I?
Yeah.
So he's like, get in my car again.
Yeah.
And he drives them like a couple blocks, and then the snake throws a truck and stops them.
Yeah.
And they get out.
I think Craig dies.
Yeah, he's gone from the rest of the movie.
He's gone from the rest of the movie. I don't know if he dies.
And they're just like, hey,
might get knocked out or
fuck you, Craig.
Thanks for the ride, idiot.
And then the police shoot Craig, and it's sad.
Yeah, that's how he does it. They were like shooting at the snake, and then he's like, oh, thanks, guys. He's with the snake. And they gun him down, and they sprinkle some
Crack
cocaine on
him.
him.
Yeah.
So we're
This
coming
is
up.
like 2008.
I mean, we're still dealing with that shit today. Insert current year.
Yeah, exactly.
So they run into the city somehow. They run over to the Liberty Building and start like scaling it.
He can't chase them down that parking garage when they're only going like 15 miles an hour. But he's fucking cruising ass.
That's right.
Down-
Down that street, knocking over cars and shit.
hundreds of cars out of the way.
Yeah, completely inconsistent.
Yep. That's why I didn't like the movie.
That was it, huh?
Loved everything else. Yeah.
Oh, really?
That took me
that
out
was
of it.
it.
The government at the same time has figured out everything. While they're running to the top of the building, we see these two guys, these two FBI agents driving in. And he's like, we need to find Sarah last name. She's the, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, how the fuck did you figure this out?
So anyway, they're driving into town, and also the U.S. apparently rented a series of Russian-made helicopters to combat the fucking Barney horde. I don't know what you want to call
the
them.
Gungas. I mean,
The
that's what they
Gungans.
are.
The Gungans.
Yeah, so
They try to go through the planet core.
the Phantom
Yes.
Menace shows up and just...
What's the name of that scene? The droid
the
scene?
battle for Naboo.
There you go.
I only know that because I loved that as a kid.
I know. That's why I asked you.
Because I thought the droids are fucking amazing, and I was like, yeah, fucking shoot those stupid fish people. Let's fucking kill them, dude. When they like walked through the force field, they were like just gunning fish people down. I was like, fuck yeah! My favorite parts of the prequels were the villains' armies.
In the sand scene.
Yes,
He doesn't like
I
sand.
love the sand
course,
scene.
and it gets in
Yeah,
your
it
vagina.
gets in my fucking pubes, dude.
It gets in my fucking dick hole.
My fucking foreskin rubs, polishes my fucking schlong, man.
Anyway, Natalie Portman, bend over. I'm going to eat you from behind.
And she's like, oh my god, from behind.
And George Lucas is like, yes, I like
Yeah,
that.
oh,
yeah,
I like,
that's good.
yeah, that's a good.
That's like poetry.
Just like I wrote it there in the script. George, all you wrote was, and then he ate her from behind. Yeah, well, I knew the actors were talented enough they could ad-lib the scene. He said it tasted like Fruit Loops.
I think he may have gone too far in a few places.
Some sound guy's like, fuck you, George. So much. Fuck you, George Lucas.
Big battle scene. I don't know what else to say. That's all that happens. And she pulls...
Cut to just like holding his head in his personal studio, being like, what the fuck did I film? Like, and then them drinking is like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad. A little bit of work. You know? Cut here, stretch some out there. You know, it's fine. Like cold sweating.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. No. He'll finish the script. He'll finish the script. No, I know.
We got 2 more movies. We'll fix it.
Last day shooting next week. I understand. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do with all that extra footage. I don't know why the world would need that much ass eating, but it's fine.
The director being like, well, here's the problem. You're cutting between 4 different tonally scenes. You got Jar Jar Binks doing comedy. You've got intense fight scene. You've got ass eating.
It's like, honestly, why couldn't we just gotten a bed? You know, why do we have to do it in the green screen room?
Oh, that's a practical ass. I think that's...
It was just Natalie Portman and just getting eaten out on a green screen studio floor. The raw footage was terrifying.
I don't know how I'm going to edit that in, but that's definitely staying in. It's just fun to talk like George Lucas.
It's a stupid, weird voice and his goiter. Yeah. Fuck that guy. My wife's black, so
I want to make a movie about black
movie
pilots.
about black
Red
pilots.
tails?
Yeah. Red dragons, red tails. That makes sense, right? No, George.
George, you can't say that, man. Can't do that.
And then
Like,
white
if my wife is
slavers.
black, I can do whatever I want.
I sold my child to white slavers.
Yeah. No studio would buy it because you walked in screaming, I'm George Lucas.
Sarah tries to kill herself with Craig Robinson's gun.
Does she? Is that what happens?
Yeah, she pulls out his gun and she's like, I won't give you the satisfaction. And
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he like.
Robinson's like, what the fuck?
So then we get the 40-minute city destruction scene.
Yeah.
And like, it's fun. There's some fun stuff.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's also the dumbest shit I've ever seen. In
Yeah,
my life.
that's what I thought the movie was going to be more of, and that's what I was excited to watch.
FBI like just moseys on up to the building and is like, hey, Sarah,
Yeah, come with
Get
us if you want to live.
And then they just like fucking are driving away, and like the guy's looking in the mirrors. The whole city's crumbling, and he's like,
glad we're not there.
Sucks to suck, am I right? Anyway,
You guys like sports talk? And he
I know
clicks on-
exactly what's going on and why you're here and who you are.
"Come into
And
this."
I've accepted it all because I am an extremely superstitious FBI agent, and I believe in myths and legends.
So he brings them to a building and like pulls a gun. Then Harambe jumps in front of the bullet and goes the fuck down. And then the FBI agent pulls the gun on Sarah, and the other FBI agent is like shaking his fucking boots, like, I've never killed anyone.
Yeah. He killed the only other person who knows what the fuck's going
Exactly.
on.
No, then the guy goes, I know you're the
No, yeah, he touches the guy he just shot's head and like absorbs all the information.
He's like, we need to get you. And then
he drives them to work.
Harambe is just like, pops up. He's like, I'm fine. I'm
good.
fucking fine.
My hair helmet
Yeah.
stopped the bullet. It's still in there.
Nothing
Yeah,
else
like
stopped the
sparks flew
bullet.
off.
Yeah.
And he like shakes like a dog, and all these bullets and combs and
And then the next
like
scene,
crumbs fall out
yeah,
of his
You
teeth.
guys were like, fuck this movie. I gotta go piss. So
Yeah,
both
we
of
did
you
go
left. And then the next scene is just them driving down like this desolate stretch of road.
Without the FBI agent. It should
Yeah,
be mentioned.
he was like,
I'll see you
it's
later.
like, I gotta go stage this to look like a suicide. It's gonna take me all night. And they're driving, and then she's like, aren't you gonna congratulate me? And he's just looks at her like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she's like, it's my 20th birthday. And then dragons descend upon them, cause their car to fucking crash because they can now shoot fire. Horrific car crash. Main character should be dead as shit. His head is on the fucking pavement after the end of the car crash. The right hair helmet. Sorry, forgot. And then he wakes up and he's in Mordor. Like straight the fuck
They
up.
are in Mordor. Yep.
I feel like a whole movie happened in between me peeing, their car ride, and then Mordor. Like
Yeah.
3 fucking Lord of the Rings movies happened.
Mordor, and then it's also Temple of Doom. Is that what
it's
it is?
everything.
Yeah, where he's like, "Don't open your eyes, Marion."
That's the first
No,
one.
that's-
That's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It's the one where they're driving a tank through a valley.
It's the one where Shia LaBeouf and the monkeys are flying through the.
So he
And
wakes
George
up.
Lucas is like, yeah, put more monkeys.
Yeah, that's
in
good.
What happens to the army? There's like a scene where like he's tied. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
there's a big army behind
yeah.
him.
That's a fucking good point. Did they run away when that other dragon
There's
showed
a
up? They're like,
big
well, fuck
fucking
this.
army behind him. I don't. How the fuck did he get out of his?
Something happens.
Something
Oh,
happens.
was
that.
it before that?
No, no, no.
Yes,
Yes,
no,
yes,
get
yes.
out of
He
it.
did
Get
it.
out.
He did it. Does not matter. He
So
gets
anyway,
out,
he gets out. He sword fights for the briefest of
and
moments.
then the guy totally won. Bad guy totally fucking
Yeah, went to
won.
go stab him, stabbed his necklace, and then was like,
Haha, I have defeated you. I'm going to touch the like fucking atom I shouldn't touch. Oh fuck, and he just like disintegrates.
Infinity War style.
and maybe when he disintegrated, the rest of the army,
Army, I think so.
disintegrated.
Or they just like were like, oh, our leader's dead. I'm going to fucking Pizza
Yeah,
Hut.
I'm
Bye.
gonna go get a job at Jamba Juice.
Yeah, fuck it. I need money
Fucking love
still.
wheatgrass. Snake comes out, goes to eat the chick or something.
Yeah, and then someone plays their.
Yeah, you
Blue Eyes
hear
White Dragon.
Kaiba. The fucking Blue Eyes shows up, just crashes through.
Dragon.
Duel.
Don't do that.
Hey, stop. And then immediately gets its shit rocked by the significantly better snake thing.
And Sarah, she's like, I gotta sacrifice myself. And the tattoo like releases this blue orb.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she can control it like a kite.
Yeah.
That's totally what she did.
And then
Yeah.
the blue eyes ate it, and it turned into. It was a big Asian dragon.
Yeah.
And then they fought, and he killed it. And then he goes over, and
Oh, yeah.
he's like, "Sup, dog? I'm taking your girl." And then she fucking disintegrates and becomes like this angel
a force
thing.
ghost. She becomes a Star Wars force ghost.
Yeah. She's like, don't worry, I'll love you forever, and you'll never be able to escape me. You're gonna be stuck with me after you die forever and ever and ever.
I'm gonna
and
let
then
you-
And he was just like, oh shit.
Dragon flies away and starts to cry.
That's right.
The movie ends with this horrific, not in perspective shot of him
No, it's like
walking
4 different perspectives.
into the desert. He's gonna die.
Walking vertically.
He does.
Looking at his cell phone, being like, "No service.
Yeah.
Cannot call a lift."
Need Craig.
Yeah. Hey, Craig, I got one more favor, bud. I'm going to send you my coordinates. And Craig looks up the coordinates and he's like, where the fuck are you?
He's like, that's not on planet Earth.
Yeah.
So
Credits.
yeah,
Very forgettable.
I thought it was fine.
I enjoyed it. I just
He hyped the fuck out of this movie to himself.
I did. That was my problem.
'Cause,
But I can still judge it in a vacuum, and like there were still a lot of really fun moments in it. And
I liked it. I like Craig Robinson having to clean up all them white people's messes. Can I say that?
I think the worst thing about it is it kind of petered off at the end.
Definitely.
Because we were really with it when it started. Like, when the elephant died, we were with it. When, what's his name, was, like, accused of being crazy.
Craig Robinson hit that motherfucker with his car.
that was fun.
Right up until the end of, like, the city battle. And then by the end of the city battle, it
Kind of started losing its momentum.
it tapered off in a lot of ways.
It built to that final like crescendo of them fighting in the city.
Yeah.
And you're like waiting for the drop, like a dubstep song, and then it like keeps building with them. And like it goes to Mordor, and by that time you're just kind of like fucking annoyed, and you're like, just drop, just end it, drop it. Yeah.
What happened with the city fight? There was no like, oh, we did it. Like looking around the destruction of LA and being like, we fought it back. No, they're still fucking fighting the dragons and shit until he touched his necklace.
You're right. There was no like conclusion of what happened in the city. What happened to the little Velociraptor?
What happened to Mike and Molly?
He married Melissa McCarthy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
lots of setups, no payoffs.
I think every fourth episode of Mike and Molly, he wakes up in a cold sweat and he's like, the fucking dragon! And and they're just
That'd
like,
be a fun thing if
And
they
then
put
they'd
that
make
one
it,
episode.
Then they'd
just
make
one
a
episode.
joke about having sex while also being fat.
and then somewhere in the CBS office, you hear like a gunshot. This is like, oh, we lost another one. All right, get that Indeed resume back up. Like,
Jesus. Yeah.
Well, at least it's not as many as we lost on King of Queens.
can we just reboot King of Queens? We'll call it Kevin Can Wait.
That's what they did.
Oh, fuck.
Said you want to go score?
Yeah. I'm conflicted.
I'm the only one with real opinions. Let's face it.
Yeah, okay.
You know that graph that Digital Drew made?
Yeah.
Shout out Digital Drew, you're a beautiful human.
Other than that one time that I apparently stroked out and gave a movie $100.
You did do that. Yeah, you texted me that.
It
Yeah.
was crazy. I was so high. Anyway, other than that, my scores have been the correct.
The correct score. Okay, I mean, that's your opinion, man.
I think it's opinions can be correct, and mine often are.
All right.
Not all opinions are facts, but some facts are Sam's opinions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. I feel like my score on this one is the only one that matters. Because Kevin came in with hype on this movie and was disappointed. You love everything and hate weird arbitrary things.
Yep.
That are better than... Anyway.
Yep.
You're just inconsistent and like everything. I'm going to give it like 50 cents. And because it literally was like half good.
Okay.
It's like to that midway point, and then from that point on, it kind of just like it went out with a whimper.
Okay.
So I think we can end it there.
Fuck you, man.
You had such a good build up, and I was like, well, whatever Sam's going to say, I'm going to say 50 cents. So
Hey,
Oh, shit.
you hit it on the head. It was...
I'm glad you want to be correct.
I was gonna give it like 75. It had a lot of fun stuff, but not like it has like a little bit of everything. Sorry, doing my best Rick and Morty impression.
Fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know what it was? I think it was when Craig died.
Yeah, when he wasn't in the movie anymore, that was when it just started
you're
kind of
right.
going.
Yeah, and
We
that
didn't
was like
have
a
we didn't
third
have
of
that
the
to
way
look forward
through.
to. It has that bad movie thing of like a lot of these scenes could be in any order,
Yeah,
and it doesn't
Definitely.
matter. And you could take out the whole Mordor section
Should
of
take
the
out
movie.
the Mordor section.
And it's fine. You could take out the entire city destruction scene and just have it be Mordor, and it's fine. You've got like two endings back to back, so it's the like...
Yeah, you could have taken the whole bit from the Mordor scene with the glowing ball and the extra dragon and just added that to the end of the city
That's what they
scene.
should have done, I think.
But then your movie would have been only 70 minutes.
That's true.
And it would technically be a movie at that point, so...
So I'm going to give it a different score than you guys.
I'm sure.
I'm going to give it 65 cents. Because
That's fine.
I don't know.
I don't hate that.
It was decent.
Yeah.
Like,
We've seen worse shit.
the two main characters, though, were so insufferable.
Yeah, they were kind of
They're the worst
flat
parts of the
tires.
movie.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be some great warrior reincarnated. Never saw him fight until he got his ass kicked in the sword fight.
And the video, you're
Yeah.
totally right. He doesn't fucking do anything.
Do you think there's something we're missing? Like something lost in translation or
Weird movie.
it was odd.
It's an odd movie.
But I think that's why I got 50 cents and not like 10. It's because it had enough weird stuff to where we were, because there were a couple of points where for whatever reason, it's not a positive feeling, but the like baffled face where you're just like, why?
Yeah.
That has been a sign, at least for me, that a movie is good, bad, enjoyable. When like every now and again you're just like, why are you doing any of this? This doesn't make any sense.
Yep. That's a fun bad movie trope of like everything around it is fun and weird, but when you actually try to focus on your main characters and tell the story to move it along is like, oh, what the fuck ever. Like,
Right.
you know, it's like eating your vegetables when you got like all your fun stuff off to the side. It's
Right.
like, well, I got to eat this to get to this. Like,
And in order for a movie to be like infamously good bad, it has to be like Troll 2, where the acting is so bad that you end up, in spite of their acting, loving the main characters because they're just so bonkers.
Yep.
Same thing with The Room, where like Tommy Wiseau over and under acting at the same time
It's so good.
is the most incredible thing you've ever seen, and it instantly endears you to not the movie but him. And I think that's when you enjoy anything that's a piece of media, is when you can connect with a character or a person rather than just see a spectacle. Yeah.
well, D Wars gets a D from me.
Oh.